My name is Julie McGill, and I'm the Vice President of Supply Chain Strategy and Insights at Trustwell. Did you know that an estimated 19% of food, the equivalent of 1.5 billion tons, was wasted in households, food service, and retail in 2022? On September 29th, we recognized the UN's International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste. And now is the time for everyone, from producers and operators and supply chain stakeholders and even consumers, to take urgent action to expand and strengthen efforts to both individually and collectively reduce food loss and waste towards ensuring a food-secure world now and also in the future. This message is being brought to you by the AIM North America Food Supply Chain Work Group in recognition of the International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste. AIM North America is a nonprofit trade alliance representing organizations that buy, sell, implement, and manufacture and use automatic data capture technologies, including RFID, barcoding, RTLS, and more. The Food Supply Chain Work Group is comprised of asset tracking and traceability solution providers. And in this video, you will hear from AIM Work Group members, including Sue Flake from Avery Dennison and Brett Green from Checkpoint. We will share our journeys, our challenges, and successes in reducing waste throughout the supply chain. To learn more or to get involved, visit aim-na.org or email info@aim-na.org.
Hi, I'm Susan Flake, Senior Global Director of Avery Dennison's Food Solutions. Glad you're with us today. Think back to the last time you ordered a meal at a fast casual restaurant. You saw the friendly cashier, the clean dining area, and the perfectly prepared food. But what you didn't see was the meticulous work happening behind the scenes, the true heartbeat of the business, the back of house. We often think of the front of house as the face of a brand, the public-facing persona that defines the customer experience. But the unsung heroes working in the back of the house are responsible for something far greater than mere speed or efficiency. They are the architects of a sustainable business, and through effective back-of-the-house operations and critically robust inventory visibility, they are the front lines of reducing a global crisis, food waste. The food industry is a major contributor to food waste, and the statistics are staggering. Spoilage from improper storage, over-ordering based on faulty projections, and mishandled products lead to mountains of perfectly good food being thrown away every single day. This isn't just a direct hit to the bottom line of any business, it's a loss of resources. The consequences extend far beyond profitability. In a world where food insecurity remains a persistent and heartbreaking problem, throwing away food is just not a business error. It's a profound social and moral failure. It's a disconnect between what we have and what so many people need.
So how do we prevent food loss using data capture technologies? So one example that comes to mind for me is we had a regional food service distributor that had a customer that was requiring them to do electronic traceability data capture. And their program included the use of GS1 128 barcodes. As the distributor was preparing to scan and share the data from those GS1 128 barcodes that were being provided by the suppliers, these barcodes, they noticed that they included the G10, it had a pack date, and lot code information. And one of the guys in the warehouse realized that he could use this information to change their receiving and their put away processes. So instead of managing things like produce items, following that whole first in, first out, or FIFO approach, by utilizing the pack dates on the products that were coming in, he could then take a look at the time that these items were received and moved from FIFO to FIFO, which is first expired, first out. And this for them, it resulted in better product visibility, but it also resulted in better turns and improvements in freshness which not only resulted in less waste at the distribution center, but they found that their customers were very happy getting fresher product, both at retail and at food service. So another example that comes to mind is incident management. And in the food industry, sometimes things are received and there might not be anything wrong with them, but they might be rejected due to a short shelf life. So if I receive something like produce that, the clock is ticking, the products received might be outside of the receiver's allotted shelf life. There could also be product issues. There could be some quality issues, for example. Maybe the items, they're still good, but they're not at the quality level that retailer requires. They might be bruised. Maybe they're discolored. Maybe the strawberries aren't as red as they'd like them to be, things like that, but they're still edible. So being able to quickly assess and return these items through the supply chain, through what we call the incident management process, companies can use things like those barcodes, like a GS1128 barcode or an RFID tag, to scan the item that they're returning to that distributor, to provide that information about the product, the lot, and the freshness of that product. And when that item is returned to the distributor, even though they might not be able to sell it to another restaurant or another grocery store, they might be able to donate those items.
Hi, I'm Brett Green, Market Development Manager at Checkpoint Systems. Today I want to talk a little bit about the cold chain. Did you know that according to our friends at the FAO, 14% of the world's food is lost between harvest and retail due to poor cold chain management? And the folks at UN Environment Program estimate that 526 million tons of food is lost every year due to cold chain problems. 526 million tons of food is enough to feed 1 billion people with a B. And that's just the food. Can you imagine the production costs involved? The waste in time, the waste in water, the waste in gas. There are countless ways the cold chain can be affected. Mechanical problems, fuel issues, poor insulation, faulty equipment, poor delivery procedures, leaving a door open too long, opening a door too many times during a delivery, inconsistent temperature zones throughout the trailer, improper loading, extreme heat, the list goes on. And the consequences? Food loss and waste, product quality reduction, operational inefficiencies, regulatory violations, loss of consumer confidence, and in worst cases, health-related issues. And the scariest part to me is, how do you know? If you're in the grocery store and you pick up an item, how do you know if it's experienced a temperature violation? In catastrophic situations, it's obvious. But the subtle violations, those are the ones that are concerning.
This is where true inventory visibility becomes a game changer. It's no longer about a manager scribbling on a keyboard, a slow and error-prone process that provides a static, outdated snapshot of what's in stock. Instead, we're talking about real-time data powered by integrated software and smart systems. With a clear, dynamic view of what's in stock, what's selling, and what's nearing its expiration date, managers can order with precision, implement a flawless first expired, first out system, and identify surplus product before it ever has a chance to go to waste. Now let's introduce the technology that elevates this visibility to an entirely new level, RFID, or radio frequency identification. Imagine a pallet of fresh produce arriving at the back door. In the past, an employee would have to manually count and log each box. With RFID, this process becomes instantaneous. Each box is tagged with an RFID label, and every tag is read in a matter of seconds. The data, the type of product, the quantity, the supplier, and the expiration date is automatically and wirelessly uploaded to the inventory system. No counting, no clipboards, and no human error. This seamless automation frees up invaluable labor hours, allowing employees to focus on food preparation, replenishment to the sales floor, and customer service. the very things that drive the consumer experience. More importantly, it nearly eliminates the hidden losses from spoilage and overordering, transforming a food retailer's operational efficiency and in turn, its profitability.
Temperature sensors can tell you if a violation has occurred between point A and B, but a temperature logger can tell you a lot more. Loggers like this can capture more than 4,000 temperature events with configurable intervals and configurable temperature limits, telling you not only that something's happened, but when it happened, and how many times it happened, and potentially even where it happened, depending on the logging data. Sensors and loggers can be applied just like stickers, as you can see here, to containers, to pallets in specific zones, or the entire load. Once a shipment arrives, the logger can be interrogated by a standard RAIN RFID reader and instantly determine if a temperature event's happened. If nothing happened, the product continues on at the speed of commerce. If something has happened, the product gets diverted to a QC area where the QC manager can dig into the log and figure out when it happened, how many times it happened, potentially where it happened, and drill down to an actual cause and ultimately a solution. Having this type of information at hand will allow companies to identify and address cold chain issues, reducing food loss and waste and improving operational efficiency.
Big picture, every little bit helps. When we talk about managing food waste, whether it's at home or at work. And so I hope that these examples have inspired you to take a look inside your organization and find new ways that you can help stop food loss and waste for the people as well as for the planet. To learn more or to get involved, visit aim-na.org or email info@aim-na.org.